Hey, if you're like us, you like racing morning, noon, and night. Give us a few minutes and we'll give you 12 hours of Sebring, an American sports car tradition which Audi has made its showplace.
Champ Car drivers talk about preparations for Mexico. We'll explain why Road America is off the schedule. And Michael Andretti discusses retirement and his relationship with his dad amid his move to the IRL.
We have your short track picks, World of Outlaws and Hooters Pro Cup.
And we'll put the exclamation point on a soggy Daytona Bike Week.
It's not as easy as it looks. Here comes more speed news. And welcome to Speed News Sunday. In the aftermath of one of America's classic races, the 51st 12 Hours of Sebring is history. I'm Dave Despain.
I'm Ralph Shaheen. We have all the news from on and off the airport circuit as the American Le Mans Series begins its year. The Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring is many things. It's a great test for teams getting ready to run the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and it's the best four-wheeled spring break party on the planet. And it's also America's top sports car race. The clock starts ticking as Frank Biela in an Audi leads the field into the first turn to open up the ALMS season. The beautiful Bentleys, who had their pole-winning time disallowed, run in formation, slicing their way to the front from the back of the pack in the early stages. Just 3 laps in, and the number 16 Dyson car, which started third, is knocked out of contention with power steering problems. Emanuele Pirro took the early lead, but on his first pit stop, he jumps on the brakes hard to avoid an incident and is able to hold on to the lead. 2 hours in, and GT pole sitter and class leader Jörg Burgermeister pits with gearbox trouble. Porsche loses lots of time on pit road. In traffic, the Bentley of Guy Smith is battling teammate David Brabham for third. Brabham gets around the Porsche of David Shep, who loses it. Smith plows right into him, then brings a Bentley in for repairs to the damaged nose, but loses 4 laps and falls to 7th. The number 20 Dyson 675 catches fire at the 7-hour mark, but the team amazingly bounces back to win the class. One of the more thrilling battles was between Tom Christensen and Mika Salo with 5 hours remaining. The edge and 4th place go to Christensen. Flat out and door-to-door for the lead in a pair of GT-class Porsches. 240 laps in, Sasha Mawson takes the lead from Craig Stanton. Apparently it was a pretty fierce fight because Stanton is quickly into the pits to have the rear undertray reattached to the 911. Tough day for the Audi Sport UK entry of Johnny Kane, which ran 4th most of the day. Lost 12 laps fixing a broken clutch. First full course caution came out just after sunset for Kevin McGarrity's GT Ferrari. Kevin taken to the hospital with a fractured leg. With less than 2 hours left, the number 4 GTS class-leading Corvette with Oliver Gavin at the controls is out with gearbox problems while running 7th overall. Now, while leading, the champion Audi team was forced to make a driver change, which handed the lead to the Yost Audi and driver Marco Werner. Werner, along with Frank Biela and Philip Peter, survived to win for the 4th year in a row for Yost Racing and Audi. The large 900 class machines dominated the top 10, taking the first 7 spots. No factory Audis, but the German marque still goes 1 and 2. Chevrolet kicks off its 50th anniversary of the Vette with its 2nd straight Sebring win. After the race, we talked to the key players.
I mean, America is a good place for me. First time in Daytona I win, and now I had the first time here in Sebring, and I can win the race. But it's from the team, make a good strategy, good job from the team, a good car from Audi. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was our race. I mean, we had it in the bag. I don't know what happened in the end. I don't even want to discuss it, really.
We had one hell of a week, and our guys, I think they got about 4 hours sleep all week, and it's just terrific. It's great to come down here and get the result for the team, and I'm ecstatic. I didn't take any chances in that last stint, but Didier and Chad, all the boys, Max, congratulations to Mr. Smith. I know he wanted this one, so we're very happy.
Man, you gotta, tip your hats to Frank and of course Ron. We've enjoyed great success together, and it's bad luck for the 4 car, but it's like Doug Feehan, our boss, always tells us. That's why you run 2 cars in case one happens to have bad luck. But man, it is sweet. There's nothing like driving a Chevrolet at Sebring.
4 times in a row now. It's pretty impressive. I'm really happy, and I didn't expect it, before the race. I just said, you just go for the race. and the race is okay. You can win 4 times in a row. No, I did it, and I'm really happy.
It was Frank Vila's second Sebring win, the first for Marco Werner and Philip Peter. 18th overall and first in 675 was the Dyson Lola MG. 2 in a row for the factory vet. Lucas Lohr earned his 4th Sebring win in the Alex Job 911. Lee Diffie and Bill Adam continue our Sebring coverage.
Coming into the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring, everyone was expecting a tremendous battle between Audi and Bentley. Bill, at their first attempt, Audi weren't too far away.
No, they really weren't. I mean, it was interesting watching the two cars and comparing them in different areas. That the Bentley had a significant top speed advantage, and yet the Audi was still a little bit faster going through the corners. So they kind of balanced out to fairly equal lap times, but a few things did the Bentley in, one of them being a little weakness of the chassis.
We won't see Bentley throughout the entire ALMS season, but we will see them at the French Classic. Good action coming up in the 675 and GT, but everyone's talking about this continuation of the fight between Corvette and Ferrari in the GTS class.
For sure. I mean, the Corvette won Sebring, but the Ferrari showed just blazing speed. My God, did they have a show of horsepower on the back straight. They will not have the same problems as they had here because Le Mans is as smooth as glass.
Large break between now and the next round, but that gives everyone plenty of time to work on their cars.
After having to announce the cancellation of events at Washington, D.C. and Mexico City, American Le Mans Series officials were able to send out a positive press release with the addition of a second stop at the 2.54-mile Road Atlanta circuit. The June 29th race will be the second round of the season.
Elsewhere, cue the lawyers. A month after it filed suit against Road America claiming non-payment of sanction fees, CART has removed the historic Wisconsin circuit from its 03 schedule. The track, noting it has promoted kart races for 20 years and supported the organization through thick and thin, says it has fulfilled all of its financial obligations. Now, both sides appear to leave the door open to compromise by just a crack. CART says it would go back, quote, if a satisfactory and professionally responsible business arrangement can be reached with an appropriate promoter. The track says, quote, management and board members remain staunch CART supporters and have every hope that an amicable resolution of this unfortunate turn of events. The key to the deal may be the last line of the track press release, quote, the issue of our disagreement with CART is the value of the series to race fans and sponsors. Meantime, CART has bought the company that promoted last year's Grand Prix Americas in Miami, giving CART the right to promote the race there for the next 15 years. President and CEO Chris Pook says Miami is the gateway to Latin America, a very important Champ Car market. Speaking of which, the CART contingent is en route to Mexico for next weekend's Tecate Telmex Grand Prix of Monterrey. The Newman Haas team won the first 2 races there with Cristiano Damata, so his successor, Bruno Junqueira, is a pre-race favorite. Homeboy Michel Jourdain coming off his best finish ever, and Roberto Moreno, always fun to listen to. So cue the drivers.
I think the combination between me and Nima Haas racing, that's a good thing. I did 2 bad races in Monterrey in the last 2 years, and they won both races. I hope I can get the touch of them and try to win the race this year.
Well, obviously you want to always be consistent and try to finish as many races as possible, you know. And I love that track, Monterrey. I love that track. It's great, and the fans in Monterrey are great, so really looking forward for that race.
I didn't do well my first experience in Monterey, but it doesn't mean I won't do well this year. I have a lot to catch up still with a new car and being a year away from racing. So it takes more than people think to spend a year just watching and then getting back into it. And I believe I need a couple of races before I really get going to my top performance.
Speed Channel will, of course, bring you all the action from CART's second stop of the season. Our exclusive live coverage begins with Saturday afternoon's final qualifying, 2:30 Eastern Time. The Monterey Grand Prix live on Speed Sunday afternoon at 2 Eastern.
Up next, a candid conversation with Michael Andretti. The son of a legend talks about ending his driving career just 2 months from now at the Indy 500.
If I don't win it, then it just wasn't meant to be, but I don't feel like anybody owes me anything.
Some drivers seem to enjoy winning more than others. Tyler Walker celebrating with backflips. We'll take you to the World of Outlaws action later on.
If you're like me and think it's easier to stay up late as opposed to getting up early, you will love Speed Channel's live TV schedule for the Malaysian GP. Provisional qualifying is Friday at 1 a.m., final qualifying is Saturday at 1 a.m., and the race is Sunday at 1:30 a.m. All times are Eastern. For some, it was hard to take when NASCAR started running the Brickyard. Then they tore the place up for Formula One. If you're an Indianapolis Motor Speedway purist, hide the sharp objects. The IRL's Infinity Pros Series will run the Freedom 100 on May 17th. It will be the first time in the history of the Speedway that another automobile race has shared the bill with the Indy 500 in the month of May at the Speedway. Tickets, by the way, are only $5.
And speaking of Indy, the CART IRL split kept Michael Andretti away from the 500 for a while. The last 2 years, he did the race as a one-off IRL effort. Now he's a full-on IRL owner with a three-car team, heading to the Indy 500 for his last race as a driver.
I look at what we did the last 2 years, and I think he did an excellent job considering we're just coming in from one race. We could have won both races, you know, with a little bit of luck in a certain way. So now having 4 races to learn the equipment more and all that, I think we're going to be even that much more prepared, and hopefully this will be our best shot of the last, 3 years.
Also benefiting Andretti this year is his lineup of drivers. After one race, there is already a camaraderie rarely seen at this level.
That's the uniqueness of this team, I believe, is the chemistry of the drivers. We all get along so well. And when you have 3 cars out there with 3 drivers that are communicating, and then that helps the rest of the team communicate, you have a very strong combination.
So all the chips seem to fall into place except one. Michael's dad, Mario, is not buying into his son's move to the IRL. He'll be at Indy, but that's it.
He has a problem with, all ovals, and, you just got to get over that. It's just, it's an all-oval series now, but that doesn't mean it will be down the road either. Yeah, it disappoints me because I really like to have him here. I really want him to be a part of this team. I think he could help out and really, make us bigger and better. And, as I've been telling him and everybody else, the door's wide open whenever he decides, to come over. We're ready to bring him in. So hopefully he'll change his mind and do it.
But make no mistake, this will be Michael's final shot at the 500, and he's not interested in having one of his teammates hand him the victory.
Yeah, I want to earn it, even if like Tony or Dario's in front of me or whatever, I don't want him to just move over and give it to me. I want to make, if I'm meant to win it, I'm going to win it. If not, I don't want it to be given to me.
So let's say Michael wins the 500. Let's say he's leading the championship. Might he have second thoughts about retiring?
No, that would be a dream. There's no better way to retire than on top. And so I hope to God that I'm in that position at that point.
The file on Michael reflects great kart and significant Indy success, but never a victory in the 500. His dad won Indy early in his career, could never win it again. Michael, after a long career, has just one more shot at the biggest open wheel prize of them all.
Touring cars and GT, we have them both. Highlights of the Speed World Challenge openers at Sebring coming up on Speed News.
And then we'll get back to the short track, fender rubbing, door banging. Gotta love that Hooters Cup Series down in Florida.
Well, we've got plenty of tear-offs, and Workin' Woody is ready to push us off.
Those who believe that dirt is for racing and asphalt is for getting there, stand by to be informed and entertained. World of Outlaws, Oak City. Donnie Schatz in yellow goes from third to first in the first half lap and leads it the rest of the way, but not without incident. He gets blocked here by Foster Landon, which allows Johnson and White one more shot at him. Jason then went backwards, lost second to Johnny Herrera, and third right here to Craig Dolansky. No handsprings this time. Tyler Walker broke and parks it, but you've not seen the last of him. Schatz had a tire going down last couple of laps, but held on. And then 24 hours and one state line later, Devil's Bowl, Mesquite, Texas.
At the start of that one, it's pole sitter Donnie Schatz in the yellow Parker Stores entry, taking the lead over Tyler Walker as they slide him into one. Craig Kinzer in the 11K loses the brakes, coasts to his stop. His night is over. 17G Ricky Logan brings the action to a halt with a spin in turn 2. On the restart, Walker gets inside of the Minot missile and takes the lead away from Schatz. Steve Kinzer will then do the exact same thing in the same corner. Suddenly, Donnie is back to third. The engine in Schatz's machine finally calls it a night in a big cloud of smoke. Tyler leads 29 laps on his way to victory, and of course the traditional, here they come, Walker Victory Gymnastics. 2 nights of racing and 2 trips to the podium for Johnny Herrera, a very solid weekend for Hollywood.
And for the record, the Dude 16 points ahead of the King in the chase for the Outlaws Championship, and the Wild Child is 3rd ahead of Delansky and Jason Sides.
This weekend's racing is over, but we've got some great ideas on how to fill up your schedule.
Sure enough, let's roll this weekend's edition of the Advance Auto Parts Racing Calendar. NHRA Gator Nationals rules say we can't show you video. We'll tell you Brandon Bernstein gets his 2nd win in 3 top fuel starts, beat John Smith in the final for the 4:59. Gary Densham, the new funny car points leader, ran a 4:87 to beat Del Warsham. And Kurt Johnson beat Jag Coughlin in Pro Stock. And Gel Savoie won the Pro Stock bike final in a bit of an upset, although Gino Scali red-lighted.
Weather-wise, it was one of the wettest bike weeks in the history of the annual Rite of Spring for motorcyclists. However, once they got the rain-delayed action underway this past Monday, we saw some of the best racing ever at the Two-Wheeled Speed Fest. We start with the genuine Suzuki Accessory Superstock race and the little engine that could. You see, Tommy Hayden on the 636cc green Kawasaki is over 100 cc's down on the guys chasing him. No problem. Tommy takes the lead, gasses her up out of the chicane, and unbelievably holds on for the win. Now to the Daytona 200 by Arai, where Honda's Ben Bostrom had the pole as we get underway with the big race. Suzuki's Matt Mladen in the number 66 takes the lead in the infield from Larry Pegram's 72. Matt grabs a handful of throttle on the Gixxer and starts to pull away, but it doesn't last. At this point, number 16, Anthony Gobert, has the lead as they bend them into 1. He gets caught on the outside, and Miguel Duhamel, who is suffering from the flu, sneaks by on the inside. Brian Livingood shows why you should wear your leathers. The bike could have used some as well. Brian was shaken, but okay. On board now with Duhamel through the tri-oval at over 190 miles an hour as Yates takes the lead and Miguel goes to 3rd. Yates then misses turn 1 on his Suzuki late in the race, and the Honda of Curtis Roberts takes a turn at the point. Curtis has learned a trick or two from his fairly famous dad, King Kenny. He lets Bosch and Miguel by to set up the draft to the line, but Miguel's pretty crafty too. He works the draft like a master and wins his 4th Daytona 200 by Arai over Boschum and Roberts for a Honda sweep of the podium.
And for the first time this year, all the top MotoGP stars gathered for a single preseason test in Spain this weekend. The results perhaps startling. Ducati's new Desmos Sedici V4, the quickest lap, earning a BMW car for Loris Capirossi. Not bad for testing. Alex Barros 2nd on the Yamaha. Then come last year's all-conquering Hondas, 3rd through 7th, led by world champ Valentino Rossi. Colin Edwards crashed, broke a finger. John Hopkins and Nicky Hayden 13th and 14th. No word on Kenny Roberts. And motorsports lost one of its most colorful characters Monday with the death of British motorcycle road racing star Barry Sheene, arch rival of Kenny Roberts when KR first went to Europe, and longtime buddy of American racing legend Gary Nixon. Sheene was the last Englishman to win the 500 World Championship. He dominated in 76 and 77 to become a national hero. He nurtured his reputation as a playboy, smoked, drank, often arrived at the track in a rented Bentley with a model on each arm, and was one of the toughest cats ever to straddle a race bike. 2 horrendous crashes could not stop him, but cancer did. Sheene had moved to Australia, where warm weather soothed his arthritis. He became a wildly popular television commentator, and it was nice to see him and KR reliving the old times just before the end. We're going to miss this guy.
Speed News Sunday is brought to you by Circuit City. We know the excitement you feel about the latest digital toys. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And by Porsche for the pure sport of driving.
The Speed World Challenge Series is not the name of the Speed Channel staff go-karting series. That would be Lots of Overweight Slow Enthusiasts Racing Series, also known as Losers. To Sebring we go. First up, Speed Touring Car. Bill Oberlin in the yellow Beamer leads from the pole. Roger Fu runs in 2nd. Lap 7, Pierre Kleinubing in the new real-time Acura RSX passes Mike Fitzgerald for 3rd. Great 4-car battle for 7th. Charles Espenlaub, Chuck Hemmingson, Ken Dobson, and Will Turner swap positions all race long here. In the end, Bill Auberlen taking the victory. It was his second win in the series and only his fourth start. On to the GT class race. Boris Said's rear brakes locked up on the presentation lap. Apparently there was no room in the cab of the truck. Boris still strapped into his M3. Lap 3, John Young leads in the Saleen. Randy Pobst is second in the new champion Audi RS6, but Phil McClure blasts around the outside for the lead. Defending champ Mike Galati has clutch problems in his RS6, ending his chances. On board with sports car legend Hans Stuck, who started his M3 on the pit lane, goes from last to fourth. McClure and his vet take the checkers, his first World Challenge win in 30 tries.
And finally tonight, seniority has its privilege. I pulled rank on Ralph so I could do this week's Hooters Pro Cup highlights just because it's so much fun to say Hooters Pro Cup on TV. To Pensacola, Florida, where Mark Nesbitt started from his first career pole, but the guy who started third was the man to watch. Watch the black car working traffic. Shane Huffman going down low to pass the pole sitter here in the Hooters Pro Cup action. Bad night for Calvin Redwine, involved in 2 of 10 cautions. He got a little help on this go-round. We had dueling Shanes for a while. Shane Wallace going under Shane Huffman to take the lead here. Wallace started second, but eventually faded to 11th. Always look a long way up the racetrack, kids. Otherwise, you're Calvin Redwine, and everybody's yelling at you. When the money lap arrived, the best black car by far was Huffman. His first win since last year's championship series. Second straight top 5 for Purrier, and no time for hot wings jokes this week.
I just don't want to see any of those orange shorts. We've kept it out of trouble all day, and it looks like another finish in the points for us. I'm Ralph Shaheen.
I'm Dave Despain. I'll see you next Friday night at 11 Eastern for Wind Tunnel, and somebody's going to be here next Saturday night at 7 for Speed News. So long.
Speed News is presented by Circuit City. For motorsports coverage when you want it, log on to speedtv.com.